My friends, I've got a great one here for you today. So check it out. A lot of you guys know buy at support, sell at resistance. I've been trading a decade. The most profitable trading approach I've ever found that's made me millions of dollars in Forex, crypto, and stocks has been buying at support, selling at resistance. But what if you sold at support and you bought at resistance, basically intending to take a trade on a breakout? We're going to get into that here in today's video. So yesterday in my free Telegram channel, I've been calling my trades in here for the past 8 years. I'll put the link in the description if you want to join and check it out. There's like 50,000 people in here who follow my trades and analysis. Check it out. I called a trade on Euro USD. So here's what I wrote. I put Euro USD here on the H1. I'm going to call a short right now. She's looking juicy. So I put the stops above the recent high. I'm selling at support. Sure. May seem like a dumb idea, but the facts are that she's failed to bounce upwards here. No buyers seem to be present. Bearish wicks on the daily, lower highs on the H1, everything lining up. And I put she is ready. So I did in fact call a trade on here. So I called to sell here yesterday. What ended up happening is she popped up here to the zone. So I closed it before the stop loss to take a smaller loss. And then this morning, since she started pulling back, I have gotten short again. So this is my short again. This is my current trade right now. I'm risking $50,000 on this to go for about a $50,000 profit target. And, yeah, we had a small loss as it popped up, but hopefully be able to make that back with full profit if the profit target gets hit now. So why am I short here at support, right? Why am I selling at support? Now, this hinges upon the idea that when price is going to bounce at a zone, it's generally going to do it very quickly. So let me show you this, for example. Whenever we saw Euro USD get above this little daily resistance zone, right? We had two little highs right here, came down, she broke above. So when price came back to here, you'll notice that when price is going to bounce at support, it'll bounce usually once and just go up, but worst case scenario, usually like a double bottom, then we go up, we have a nice move off the zone. Surely enough to make a profit from, right? So if you're buying at the support, you got to stop below and a target above, you're going to get the profit target hit. I trade with 1-to-1 risk reward ratios. And I close the trades a little bit early if they go towards the stop loss, and I hold them a little bit longer, usually all the way to the profit target if they go into profit. Super easy, super sexy, super amazing, super, super nice. So now I'm short here on Euro USD because check it out. Here on the daily chart, here's what's happened since prices come here into this zone. Prices come here into the support zone. We tried to dip below. That failed. Okay, we tried to dip below, it popped right back up. Okay, cool, fair enough. Indecision candle. The next candle, we tried to go below again. We failed. We tried to go up, we failed. Another indecision candle. Then price tried to go up here to like have a nice run off the zone, but we failed. We made a lower high right there. We came back into the zone. We closed on the daily candle. We closed into the zone here, and that's where I got short actually, right here, like yesterday or the day before. Price then popped up. And then since it popped up and closed bullish and then it started to go up even further this morning, I was like, yeah, I'll get out of this trade. My stop loss was above the zone, like somewhere up in here. It's like, somewhere in this region. So I closed before the stop loss was hit, took a smaller loss, managed risk, and now we've since started pulling back down to the downside. So I'm short again because price is giving us evidence that it's going to drop. That's just on the daily. Whenever we go here to the 1-hour chart, you can also start to see something very interesting here. Okay, price tried to move up back here in the past. Then when we came back, tried to bounce up here, made a lower high, and then we started making this little sideways movement here where price is testing the zone a bunch of times. We desperately tried to go up yesterday. Now we've pulled back into the zone. My idea is that we're probably going to get this zone taken out and go to the downside because of the context of the price action. Once you've been trading long enough, things are not as basic as just saying, let's just buy at every support level and sell at every resistance level. Now, generally speaking, that's what I do. Okay, but we should not discount the value of nuance and intuition and discretion and price action discernment and like examining the context just to make the decision like, look, should we really be buying here at the support? There's a term that I've quoted here on this channel, and if you remember it, put it in the comments below. This is it. If you remember, let me know. The more a support resistance zone is tested, the less likely it is to be respected. Okay, the more a support resistance zone is tested, the less likely it is to be respected. Now, if I'm to just elaborate a little more on this, the more a support resistance zone is tested in short succession, the less likely it is to be respected at that time. What does this mean? It means that the best trades, price comes into a support zone, and by God, it bounces away if it's going to bounce. It comes into there again, it bounces away, you have a nice move off the zone. When you start seeing trash like this, where price comes into a zone, tries to bounce, goes deeper below the zone, tries to bounce, comes up again, fails to make a new low, goes sideways, struggles to go up, then pulls back, tries to bounce 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, and then it still goes up here and then fails, and it comes right back into the zone. the more a support or resistance zone is tested in short succession like this, the less likely it is to be respected at this time. So with this logic, what we can do is it allows you to do a couple things here. Number one, it allows you to get the hell out of trades that aren't that great. What does this mean? It means if say you're long here at the support zone, right? You've bought at support. It's a simple break and retest trade here on the daily. Okay, we're going to take all the crazy shit out. We're just going to do this, right? Comes into the zone, you buy here at the zone, it starts to bounce up, but then it starts going sideways for a couple days. On the 1 hour, it's making lower highs, it's banging in the support zone. It looks less likely to bounce because if you were right, it just would have started to bounce relatively quickly, usually within a day or two, sometimes 3 days. It's not going to take a long time, right? If it's going to go, it's going to go. Price is going to get into the zone. You're going to have short people who are short. They're going to liquidate their shorts at the zone, take profits. That's going to cause bullish pressure. You're also going to have a flood of orders coming to the market of people buying there at the support zone, and that is going to cause more long orders coming to the market, which is going to have price have the pressure to get pushed up, right? We're peer pressuring price to move up. That's exactly what we're doing here when we trade. It's a matter of us peer pressuring each other to buy or sell at support resistance zones. JK, but that's kind of how it works when you think about it, right? If there's enough bullish orders at the zone, right, there's enough buy side liquidity, you're going to see price start to rise off the zone. Very simple. If enough people are buying and there's enough volume there at the zone on buys, price is going to be moving up. When there's not, you see shit like this. You see price going sideways here at the zone, trying desperately, struggling to get up and just failing over and over. So I think that this little downtrend right here, right, this little like short-term little downtrend with all these little lower lows and lower highs, I think this will send price going through the support zone, and thus I am selling. Now, if you're going to be having the balls or the guts or the cojones or the ovaries or any type of gonadal biological thing in your body that is going to allow you to want to sell at a support or buy at a resistance, you still have to figure out how the hell you're going to control risk. How are you going to control risk? Well, you basically just want to put a stop on the other side of the next clear zone, which is usually a recent high in this case, or a recent low if you're buying off the support. So where's the most recent highs in this zone? Here on the daily chart, we can see there is a little zone right here. Okay, there's a zone where price is like, it popped up here, bounces resistance, broke above, bounced as support, tried to go, but look, failed right here, came into the zone, failed to hold the zone, failed to go up, make a new high, a bunch of lower highs. Then we dropped at that time right there below the zone. Okay, we've come back up into here. We found resistance again, bounce, and then we found resistance again today, a couple hours ago. Price hit this zone and started to bounce again. Therefore, if we are going to be selling at whoa, let's get this back. If we're going to be selling at this support right here, we have to put our stop above the recent highs. Okay, now it's not going to always be like a great time to enter, meaning you're going to have to make sure that you're structuring risk in a way that makes sense for you. If price is really far from the zone, your stop has to go really far. It might be better to just wait and see if price could pull back into that region before entering. That's perfectly fine. So it might just be a case of saying, hey, instead of selling right here at the support, maybe let it pull back a little bit to the next area where, you know, if it breaks past that, that'll be invalidated, but it gives you a little bit better of an entry. A lot of times you won't get the chance to do that though, because the momentum is so powerful, it'll take off before even coming anywhere near that. So in this case, what I've done is I've elected to put my stop just above the little recent zone. Here's a trade I called my Discord here this morning. I put a stop just above the little recent high. I've risked $50,000 on this. If this drops from here, I will make a nice healthy profit. And if it starts going up towards the stop loss again, or if it starts going sideways and refuses to break the zone, I'll try to get out. Right? It could be a small profit, could be break even, small loss, halfway to the stop loss, or whatever. Now, I am currently on a beautiful losing streak. And why do I say it's a beautiful losing streak? Because the risk is controlled. Whenever I'm right, I generally make more money than when I'm wrong, which is why over the course of the past 4.5 months, it sucks. This account was up to $600,000. Now it's at $455,000. Why? Because losing streaks are real, and because I talk about them, and because I share them openly. I quite literally expose myself to all of you guys and my videographer. I cannot count how many times I've exposed myself to Kirkland, showing him all my trading losses. Maybe some other things, but I mean, I just show it how it is. So I'm still sitting in profit, which is why I show the full P&L of the account, and not just the week to week or the month to month or the day to day. I show the full P&L in the account whenever I show the P&L, just to show, look, it's still in a net profit. Everything's still in a net profit. I've taken a $350,000 account. Before swaps and commissions, I've grown the account $220,000 in profit. And while it does suck to have had an account get all the way to $600K, right, which is basically almost doubling the account, to now $455K. So I've lost like $145,000 over, I think, the past 2.5 weeks. It's a losing streak. Losing streaks happen. I don't hide them. But we're still in a net profit because I make more when I'm right versus what I lose when I'm wrong. And if I didn't do that, I wouldn't be profitable. So that's one trade right here. There's also another trade here on GBP NZD that I entered this morning, and that looks like it's actually going into some more profit. We are here. I got short here at the resistance zone, and then selling there at resistance. Prices started to bounce. There was a little zone here, a support that price was kind of hanging out in. Where's the zone? It's way too sloppy to try to figure it the hell out. So what I'm doing is I just use this little resistance zone up here. And at first I was thinking about buying for a breakout on the zone. But what I decided is based on the daily chart, it still looks really, really clear because price has been hitting this zone over and over and it's still having rejection candles at the zone. I went ahead and got short. I've entered there to short at the zone. But one of the last trades I've took today, which was certainly not a buy at resistance or a sell at support, this was a sell at resistance. And what I did is when price came here into the zone, it started to bounce away, came back up and retested. And as it started to hit this zone and then bounce away, I got short right here. I have since closed this trade at a smaller loss than the stop loss. The stop loss was like $50,000 of risk. I think I closed this in what? How much loss did I have here? $31,000. So maybe like 2/3 of the way to the stop loss location on Euro GBP. And you can see all these other losses in here from the EU trade that I just talked about, and then GN and GBP JPY. So with this right here, I've sold at the resistance. It started to bounce up. I ended up just getting out of this trade because it looks like it's going to be trying to break through this zone. And this is another example of, even though sometimes price will bounce at a zone, the more a support resistance zone is tested in short succession, the less likely it is to be respected at that time. We have price touching here, 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 and then a bunch of times right here, tried to bounce away, just put in a higher low, and now we're back up into the zone, and we're starting to crack some of the recent highs. Could we still bounce here and move to the downside? Sure, of course, anything could happen. You never know exactly what will happen. It's trading. It's 50-50. You flip a coin. Price is going to go up or down. You have to make more when you're right versus what you lose when you're wrong if you're going to be profitable. And that is why a staple of my trading approach has been, number one, to keep things simple. Number two, control risk. If you're controlling risk, you're structuring things in a way that enables you to make more when you're right versus what you lose when you're wrong. That is the keys to the kingdom. That's why I call my trades here and share all my analysis and stuff in my free Telegram. And I've been doing this for like the past 8 years. It's very, very basic. So I went ahead and closed my Euro GBP position. If this starts to bounce here, I might get short again. It's no big deal. That's the beauty of it. You don't have to be too rigid. You don't have to sit out of a trade if you close it at a loss, right? You can get in and stay in when price action looks good and it looks like it's going into profit. And you can get out and stay out when you think it's not going to work out. So that's that. There's a couple other trading opportunities that I have this week, but I'm posting all those in Telegram. Again, link in the description. I'll put it in the pinned comment as well if you want to check out the free Telegram. Follow some of my analysis in there. You can be in there in like 10 seconds. It's free. It's just a resource I've run for nearly a decade trying to help people like you learn how to trade. Hope this video was helpful. If you liked this video, thank you so much. I appreciate it. My friends, happy trading, and I will see you in the next video. Cheers.